Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel again. Krishna here. Today I'm gonna show you how to use self-signed certificate in your website, right? Test website or whatever. Um, you might be knowing that I have a video already uploaded a year back. Okay, how to create SSL self-signed certificate. Okay, in this list my video appears at the beginning, right? So today I will show you the second part of it, how to use this certificate onto your website, right? Test website to be precise, because self-signed certificate you cannot use it for a production grade, because the purpose of self-signed is to test something, right? So definitely your self-signed certificate will not be trusted from your browser. Okay, not just that, I will also show you an extended version of this, how to create a self-signed certificate, right? And it's a lot more easier than whatever I showed you earlier. Okay, let's start. I have two web servers, okay, and they are running on Apache 2, or in other words, HTTPD, right? So as you can see here, this is not secure. Let me go ahead and do HTTPS. Okay, this works. 206, right? HTTPS. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is this has a certificate, right? But it's not a really trusted one. Okay, so see here, even though you have a certificate, but it's not a real one, not real, I mean just trusted one. That means I am using a self-signed certificate for this server. Okay, so what I'm telling is I have already used a self-signed certificate for this application, but now I will run through how to install self-signed certificate on this machine, I mean on this server, right? So this is a HTTP, not HTTPS, right? So there is no certificate associated with this website. Okay, even if I say HTTPS, it shows, I mean it returns an error. It times out basically, because it will search for this website and it doesn't find anything, so it's times out. So I will run through how to create and install the self-signed SSL certificate for this site, right? And I have already done this installation of SSL certificate, that is self-signed SSL. So it's showing like this, right? So for this I have not yet done. I will be showing you how to do it. Okay, see here. Um, we do it again. Okay, yeah, this is HTTP, should work. It's taking some time. Okay, by the way, I have created these two instances in Oracle Cloud account. Okay, and I have installed HTTPD and created a simple index file, that's index.html file with whatever message you are seeing, right? So that's my two servers, and I will be doing SSL certificate creation on this machine. This is a host number one, it's already up and running, and in this machine I'm going to do everything starting from creating a SSL certificate. Even before that, we need to install a module called SSL for HTTPD. Let me log into the machine first. Step number one, log into the machine, right? Step number one. Okay, this is my host number 2. Okay, logged in. and HTTP is running. Okay, so that's what we just did. Right, the application is running, but this is not secure. Right? Remember this, once we install the certificate, this will turn to a certificate is present but it's not trusted, right? So you just compared with the host number one. So the application is running on this. All right, so let us start with step number one, to install a mod SSL, right? So since you are an OPC account, by default this is the user. If you are familiar with any of the cloud instances, specifically for Oracle Cloud account, by default when you log into the machine, this is the user, right? So this will have a sudo by default. So sudo, I mean it won't ask for password. Okay, looks like it is installed. Okay, I think I pressed enter here and it exited without installing, right? Have to press yes. Okay, so the SSL module is installed now. So let us go to the next steps, right? So make sure that these two folders are present in your machine. Okay, I'm assuming you are using the same CentOS or the related distribution. This is Oracle Linux based on CentOS. Let me check if this folder is present. Okay, right. Uh, it's not present. Let me add it. Remember, you have to have sudo cd etc. Okay, there's no folder called private. Let me do it. All right. Okay, so we got the folders created. Next, this is the very important step. You have to create. Okay, this is the very important step here, because you are going to create a signed self-assigned certificate in one go. Okay, I will tell you each of these wherever, I mean whatever is important, right? So yeah, sudo, and OpenSSL is the command, request is a sub command, and this is the type where we use to create a certificate, self-service certificate, right? And nodes, this basically says you don't have to create a signing request, right? Because you are creating only the self-signed certificate. So output of this command is only two files, that is key and a certificate. But in a normal scenario you will be having three files: CA certificate, signed certificate, and a key, right? So is in here I will be getting only two files, right? And number of days it's valid for, and the key, yeah, we are gonna create a new key, and the type of encryption, and how much, what's the bit length, and this is the file we are going to create, right? This is the private key. Let me do it as a host 2. And what is the certificate? This is self-signed cert. Remember, I mean, notice there is an extension of CRT here, and there is an extension of key here. This is your private key and this is your certificate, right? So private key should not be exposed anywhere, and make sure that when you put into the web server you have proper um, protection kept, meaning file permission you have to change, and this is a normal file permission, right? So yeah, I mean, as soon as I enter this, right, it will prompt for a series of steps, and you have to fill in. And the most important things are, okay, it will ask for CN, common name, right? This should match with this IP address. Okay, if you are using IP address as your URL, if not, the host name of a machine or the domain full path, right? So these are the things you have to put it into a CN. If this uh, if this doesn't match, your application will not open. It will say there is no ID, I mean matching ID found, right? So let us see that. So I am going with this IP address. In your case, if you stick with IP address, it's good. Otherwise you can use hostname as well. So I am going with this hostname, host2, right, for CN. Everything else you can keep it to like whatever you think. I'll show you when I run that. Okay, and these certs are generated at this place, etc SSL. That's what we are giving here. And right, so yeah, this is the note I had to give you. Okay, let us start creating this. And I'm in OPC, I'm under OPC user. Okay, and let me go to home. Okay, sudo open SSL request certificate type x509, nodes, days, new key, RSA encryption type, key location, and certificate location. Right, let me enter. Okay, country name, I'm gonna say India, IN. These things doesn't really matter, right? This is my state, city, and the name of the organization. I'll say my site. This shouldn't matter. And unit name, apps, common name. This is very important. I was telling, right? This is the very important aspect of creating a self-signed certificate. This should match with your website. If you are using a domain name, you have to use that. If you are using a host name as a URL, you have to give that. So I am going to use the IP address, so I'm going to give the IP address. Okay, email address. Okay, my site. I mean, this doesn't exist basically, right? So it's done. Let's inspect whether we have created or, I mean, what's created. Go back to the certs, go back to, yeah, see here, this was not the host to self-signed cert. This is the self-signed certificate. And where is the key? Go to private. Okay, you see here, the permissions are I mean only readable by other users. Of course, this is owned by root, so this folder itself you cannot log in if you are logging with some other user, right? So yeah, we got the two files, the key and the certificate, right? And the key file is placed at private, and the certificate is placed at the certs. That's what we had given in the command, right? So hope it's clear. And the very important aspect here is the common name. I have given the host name, or I mean sorry, IP address of my host, right? So let's continue with the next steps. Okay, then we are going to create a new conf file. Okay, since this is my old IP address, I'm going to use the new one, right? Open this, go to this location and open this file, etc httpd. This is where my Apache is running. Okay, I'm going to create, okay, there is SSL conf. Okay, let's not worry much. So I'm gonna sudo this. Okay, etc httpd conf d and then ip address dot conf. I'm keeping this ip address wherever possible so that it will not, I will not get confused. I mean, just for the understanding purpose. Okay, this file will be empty and you have to give uh, those two certificates. Let me log into the other machine. Okay, so similar to this we are going to create, right? Instead of host 1 we are going to do host 2. So this is a virtual host we call it, and let me tell you. Okay, this thing is the most important thing as well as this, right? So since we have used host 2, okay, keys and the certificate, so we have to accordingly assign. And this is very important because whatever certificate you have created, cn name used, the same thing should appear here as well. If it is a domain name, you have to use domain name. If it's a host name, it has to be host name, right? So in my case I'm using the ip address because this is how I'm addressing my website. Okay, let's cross check if this file is there. Oh no, I have not used sudo. Yes, very funny. Okay, this is 193 and there should be host 2. Let's check if this file is present. Yes, it's present. Alright, so we have created a virtual host and we have configured our SSL certificate as well, and this virtual host file is present here. Remember, let me check what is SSL dot. Okay, so this is alright. I think as soon as we install mod SSL, this will be generated, so we don't have to worry about that. So this is our custom conf file, and our http conf file will include this and load the required information. Okay, let's go to the next step. So this is done, and so once this is done, we have to check the validity of our config files. Before that, let me check one more thing. What's the name of the server name in the, okay, EAM httpt conf. Let's check this server. Okay, so I have not enabled this because this also matters, right? If you enable it, that should again match with your host name, whatever you're going to give in the um, custom config as well as in your certificate common name. So this should be fine for us. Okay, let's go to the next step. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this config check. it should come syntax. Okay, we are good. And so we need to restart this HTTP server. Before that, okay, let's go ahead and do it. So before that, let's check the website, right? So what's happening? So this is my host 2. Let's go to new incognito window. Okay. Okay, there is no certificate associated, even though we have placed the certificate and made the config changes, uh, but it's not reflecting. Why? Because we need to restart the HTTP server, HTTPD server, right? So yeah, we have checked the configuration. Let us go ahead and restart. Okay, so we've just restarted our machine. I mean our HTTPD. Okay, it's not coming still. Let's look into it, right? Or let's open again. No, we are doing something wrong here. It has to be HTTPS. Probably it will not come. Why? Because we have not modified the firewall settings for HTTPS. I might have modified it for HTTP, but not for HTTPS. Let's check that. Okay, it's timing out. Let us check from the log. I will show you where the log will be. In this. Okay, let's log into etc httpd logs. Okay, let us check this. Yep, is this matching? Probably. That's okay. So it's showing me that the certificate configure for instance. This is my host name. All right, so I'm gonna shut down this after, because this is accessible for by anyone, because this is coming from cloud, right? I'm gonna shut it down this and delete this basically, and does not include an ID which matches the server name. Okay, this could be because of at least two reasons. One, the CN name and the host name, whatever we have selected in the HTTPD, is not matching. The HTTPD config with the CN of the certificate may not be matching, right? So I hope that that is not the case, because I have taken care, right? I have given extra um, effort, and I mean I was extra careful on that. Let us inspect the certificate. Okay, there is a command to inspect the certificate. I'll show you. Yeah, this is the one. cd etc SSL certs. Okay, where's the CN? Here it is, right? So the CN is matching with my IP address and whatever configured in the conf dot, I mean HTTP conf, right? So the next possibility is the firewall is not configured for, probably for the HTTPS server, right? So let me do it for HTTP first, just to check if it's there already. Oh no, master purchase sudo exit. Oh no. Okay. I thought I'll use first HTTP and then see whether it's already executed. Okay, so the difference here is, right, now it is telling success. Let us see it for HTTP. It will say it's already enabled, right? So that means HTTP was enabled, HTTPS was not enabled. So now let us check the server. HTTPS. Okay, it's coming. Earlier it was not coming, it was going on a wait mode, timeout mode. Now it's coming. Let us see. This is, I mean, still we're getting this because this certificate, whatever we have given, is not trusted by the browser. All right. This is my host 2 or web application or web server 2, which is running with SSL certificate, self-signed SSL certificate, right? You see here, website identity sounds so verified by, this is my site, I mean the certificate CA, certificate authority, and this is when the certificate expires. So today I have created it, so next year it will expire because I had given 365 days. If I want to see the certificate, yes, I can see it here, right? Whatever I had given, everything is coming here. So just to recall, what are the steps we did, right? So I mean, this is again a simpler way. If you looked into my older video, I have given multiple steps, but here just one step to create a self-signed SSL certificate. Step number 1, to create, I mean to install the mod SSL and create a couple of folders as per this. And again, this is my case, I'm using CentOS based OS. If you are using different one, make sure that use the same, whatever you create, use the same, right? And this is the self-sign certificate creation step. It will create two things, a key and a certificate, and that will go and that will place under these folders respectively, right? And the important aspect here is you have to choose the right CN, common name, and right. So once the certificates are created, you have to create a custom conf file for HTTPD. So I've called a custom config with my IP address of my server, the second server. I could have used a host name too, but yeah, just to differentiate, I've used this word, right? So in this is the configuration we are going to give, and the important thing here is the IP address, the place of the certificate, and the key, right? And then with this, yeah, this is on means on, off means off, and this is where my index.html, the home page of my website resides, right? So those are the major configurations. Once that is done, yeah, as usual, you check the config and restart the HTTPD and then check the browser, right? So if the firewalls are not taken care earlier, you have to do that now. So this was the case in my host 2, and we did that and it worked, right? And now since, okay, let me show you one more thing, right? My site works for HTTP as well. Now I have not removed the oh, okay. So let me, I mean, ideally you have to redirect it to the HTTPS. There is one more directory you have to do, config file, but this looks like it is redirecting already because I was playing around something, probably have done it. Let me check this machine. So I'm checking the HTTP version of my server website, right? So this is non HTTPS, that means HTTP. So there is no, see here, HTTP, because I have not configured my Apache server to redirect HTTP to HTTPS. You have to do that, right? If, I mean, you once you have the SSL certificate, it's not good idea. Good, I mean, it's not ideal to have a HTTP working. It has to be HTTPS. So you have to, make some changes to your HTTPD config in the config file, such a way that the HTTP will be redirected to HTTPS. That will be simple. I think you can Google it and do it by yourself. All right, that's all, folks. See you later. Thanks for watching.